Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Kashif Kamran with yet another discussion on data analytics and the auditor from the AAA perspective. Why am I saying this is another discussion is that I've already done at least three videos on data analytics over the last 4 years since this topic was introduced and made part of the AAA syllabus. I remember 4 years down the road, I did my first video on my YouTube channel about data analytics, and that was the first time this topic was introduced in the AAA syllabus under the syllabus area D2. Now, today I'm emphasizing on this topic, reinforcing this topic, because again, this topic still is an important topic from the AAA perspective, and we can see future impact of this topic in the exams to come from December 2024 onwards. Now, just to give you an idea that these are my previous resources on data analytics, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Kashif Kamran. And there are three videos on my channel about data analytics, and almost each one of them have been done in a span of last 3 to 4 years. Even I've covered the article the examining team has published 4 years ago, Data Analytics and the Auditor. That is covered in the first two links you can see on your screen. And then I have also discussed about can the financial results in the question number one be presented in a form of a dashboard. And that was covered in my link number 3 you can see on the screen. But I'll try to reinforce a summary of my previous videos, bringing some more knowledge to the subject matter in my new video, which I'm conducting in November 2024. And this is ahead of the December 24 exam. So any student appearing for December 24 exams onwards, this is a very important video for you. Okay, first of all, just let's discuss what is data analytics before we look into the perspective of the syllabus and we then prepare ourselves within the syllabus relevance. Data analytics for the auditors involve using specialized tools, and I'll be sharing emphasis on that, to examine extensive data sets, allowing the identification of patterns, deviations, and inconsistency. So if you look at this word data analytics, it's very simple. It's about analysis of the data. And we know that there was a technique which the auditor still use, which is known as analytical procedures. And in that even analytical procedures, the auditor analyzed the data. Now, definitely that has come under data analytics, use of specialized tools to analyze the data, to find deviations in the data, to identify unusual patterns in the data or inconsistencies in the data, which can really help auditor pick up the risky areas, focus on those areas, and definitely will bring a lot of efficiency in the process of the audit because all this is being done through specialized tools. You are analyzing a lot of information which is there on the computer systems of the client. And in that way, you are studying the unusual patterns and behaviors in a more holistic manner, which gives you a better insights to the risk assessment and then can help you out devising a real good risk response strategy. So this is data analytics. Now, from a syllabus perspective, what ACCA has published or what the AAA examining team has published around data analytics, there are three important things which you should be knowing. And this is coming from the article which the AAA examining team has published on this subject matter like 4 years down the road. And it's still on the website. It's still an important article, and you should brush over that. Three things in the article which are covered specifically includes the benefits of data analytics, challenges of data analytics, and procedures. And the examining team has given you some examples of procedures which you can adopt using data analytics. So we need to cover each one of them specifically. We need to emphasize on each one of them so you are gaining the right knowledge about this subject matter. Now, if I just show you the syllabus guide specifically on your screen, this is the syllabus guide, and this is the most latest syllabus guide available on the website. And right over here, it tells us something about data analytics. This one: assess and describe how IT can be used to assist the auditor. So, how IT can be used to assist the auditor, and recommend the use of the automated tools such as data analytics in the conduct of the audit. Now, we know the questions around IT. If you look at 4 years, last 4 years past papers are very rare. I think we saw once in the September December 20 paper a question around data analytics, and then we saw one question in the June 24 mock around data analytics. So these are two relevance which I remember, where a question has come for few marks around knowledge testing or application testing of data analytics, not more than that. And I'm talking about the published versions of the paper, right? Because we know the ACCA now published papers on a hybrid model, like March and June merged together and made one paper. So there could be some questions which are omitted and which are not known to the tutor. So first of all, a student should know how to assess and describe the role of IT in the audit process, particularly the role of data analytics. Number two is to evaluate and interpret the results of the data analytic tools when planning the audit. So analyzing the results of the data analytics tool at the planning stage. And that's where I call that the results, the financial results in the question number one can be presented graphically. The financial results in the question number one can be presented in the form of a graph, a bar chart, a pie chart, or more graphically. And you need to study those graphs, investigate what's the trend in the graph, and what the trend is the trend identifying a risk for you. So evaluate and interpret the results of the data analytic tools, right? That's number two emphasis of the syllabus on data analytics. So I'm covering both the aspects, right? I'm telling you how data analytics can be used in the audit and how the results could be presented using the data analytics tool. So that's the syllabus perspective, right? So back to my presentation. We're looking at three things from the article: benefits, challenges, and procedures. We're looking at two things from the overall syllabus guide, which is how data analytics can help you in the audit, and more importantly, the financial results presented more graphically. Benefits of the data analytics first. If the audit firms are using data analytics, and this is becoming more common globally, what are benefits they're getting out of data analytics? And we know examining team is very fond of asking direct questions on data analytics, so they can ask you, explain the benefits of using data analytics, or how data analytics usage adds to the overall efficiency of the audit. There are five benefits. Number one, enhanced risk assessment. So data analytics help you with enhanced risk assessment at the planning stage. Auditor can assess risk more accurately with a data-driven insight. So you're analyzing the data. You're analyzing unusual patterns and behaviors in the data. So in that way, you can have a more accurate risk assessment. Number two, improved detectability of errors. Analysis help to unearth errors that may go unnoticed, because you are deploying the data analytics tool on the client data. So that data analytic tool is identifying or is searching any unusual things in the data or any errors in the data, and that report will be generated for the auditor, and the auditor can then identify the errors in the data, which if you are doing manually might go unnoticed. Number three, informed decision making provides auditor with a clear picture leading to a data-backed recommendation. So after the data analysis being done, you will get a report. The report will highlight the unusual patterns, deviations, inconsistencies, and errors. And that report is giving you a data-backed recommendation where to focus on. So you have something in black and white. You have a report which has been extracted at the end of the data analysis. And that report will give you a clear insight, a clear picture for your improved decision making, where to attack on. Number fourth, time efficiency. Definitely, when you use computer skills or computer techniques in the conduct of the audit, like data analytics, and you're analyzing a greater data, which humanly is impossible, you are saving a lot of time. And so the time spent on audit can go down. The audits can become more efficient over times. And we are already seeing this phenomena happening globally, that the time spent on audit is going down because of these data analytic techniques and more about artificial intelligence and robotics coming into the audit. Things are changing rapidly. Trend visualizations allows auditor to observe historical patterns and trends over time. So you can do the trend analysis as you do in the analytical procedure, but you're doing this through the data analytics tool. So you can study the last 5 year data. You can identify unusual trends over the last 5 years, particularly when you're doing the first year audit. Such analysis could be very worthy because you need a lot of knowledge of business in the first year audit. So such historical trend analysis can give you a real good insight. So these are benefits of data analytics. Please ensure you have them on your fingertips. Challenges of data analytics. Now, it's the flip of the picture. One side are the benefits, on the other side are the challenges. So each subject matter needs to be evaluated from both aspects. What are challenges to the auditor or audit firm when they are adopting techniques of data analytics? The first challenge is data quality and integrity. Inaccurate or incomplete data can lead to inappropriate conclusion. What about the integrity of the data which the management is providing you, on which you are performing the data analytic techniques? Now we know the information comes from management. There could be something misleading in that information, inaccurate in that information. So we have a question mark on the integrity of the data on which we are performing the data analytic techniques. So anything wrong in the data would definitely lead us to a wrong conclusion and will definitely compromise our audit quality. Number two, access to data. Client may withhold sensitive information. We know client have that tendency to have an argument with the auditor, at times creating barriers to the information for the auditor. And we know there is a scope limitation implications in the audit report as well for that. So client may withhold sensitive information. You might be given in the scenario that the client is not giving you access to a certain information on which you need to apply the data analytics. So that would limit the effectiveness of the audit. Number three, complexity of the data system. Multiple data system complicate integration. Now there might be so many systems being used at the client premises, and the systems of the client interacting with your data analytic tools. We know compatibility issues can come within softwares and systems. So that can create a very complicated picture for the auditor, that if your data analytic tools are not very well like synchronized or not very well integrated with the different systems being used by the client. So that could become a real big challenge for you to apply the data analytic technique at the end of the day. Training and competence. You need to invest a lot in training and development of your staff. You need to educate your staff about data analytics, artificial intelligence, and robotics, how things are changing in the audit industry. You need to make your staff aware of these changes. You need to make a paradigm shift from the manual audits to the computerized audits. And a lot of learning should come to the staff. So I think the staff could lack techniques or could lack competence for the application of data analytics unless and until you have a firm-wide training and development program which can boost their skills to overcome this challenge. And lastly, data privacy and security. The client may be worried about their data security and data privacy. The client may have issues that you might disclose their confidential data you are analyzing. So concerns about the data protection might be a question mark, for which reason the client may withhold some sensitive information from the auditor. So because when you do the data analysis, you go deep inside the client data, and the client may not like that because they have some sort of sensitive data, or they might have a risk that this data could leak out by the auditor to the third parties. So these are some sort of challenges the auditing team or audit firm needs to keep in mind when they're applying or deploying the data analytic techniques at the client premises. So we've seen the benefits and we have seen the challenges. Procedures. What sort of data analytics, how data analytics can help you making procedures. Number one, data mining, identifying trends in financial transactions. This is something you do with analytical procedures. You're very habitual as students of AAA with that. It's just about investigating unusual patterns and behaviors or errors in the data. And you will deploy your data analytics software or your data analytics tool on the client data. And that data analytics tool will analyze the larger data and will prepare a report for you for all unusual patterns, behaviors, and errors where you need to focus on some sort of tools which are used for data mining for those trend analysis, historical trend analysis, unusual behaviors, errors in the data. Some sort of tools used globally by the audit firms include the ACL tool. The ACL is the audit command language. Now, this is a software where the audit firm gives software a command, what the software needs to do. Does the software needs to identify errors in the population? Unusual behaviors in the population. So whatever command you give to the software will obey that command. So audit command language is a very common software which are used by the global audit firms for data mining purpose. Number two is sampling techniques. So you can use the statistical sampling technique. We know the statistical sampling techniques is the one that involves the use of computer assisted audit techniques or involves the use of audit software. You must have even learned this in the AA paper, the F8 paper, audit software. So a sampling method which is driven by the audit software is known as statistical sampling, where the computer system or the audit software will help you pick up the samples, choose the sample, and then will give you a report of the results of the samples you need to work on. So you can have statistical softwares, and all the audit firms have statistical softwares which help them, which are run over the population, and then the software helps you choose the set of samples you should go down with. So at least the human error or the human biasness is overcome. The anomaly detection, detecting unusual transactions or patterns. So you can have a software which goes onto the client system, which runs on the client system and try to pick up errors within the client system, issues within the client system. So some sort of a software being used globally by the audit firm is known as IDEA, data analysis software. So IDEA is a good software being used globally by lots of audit firms, which gives them insights into the unusual transactions or errors. So data mining, sampling techniques, and the anomaly detection are three possible procedures you can make in the exam paper. And you just need to keep in mind the tools. You're not referring to tools in exam, but you just need to remember the procedure, the types of procedures. You can use these words in exam, data mining, anomaly detection. The examiner will be very impressed with you. Or you can use some sort of examples of softwares like audit command language. The examining team will be very impressed that you know such things as a AAA student. So these are procedures, right? Lastly, can financial results be presented in question number one of the AAA paper using data analytics technique? And the answer to this question is yes. But how often have we seen that in the last 4 years since this topic was introduced? In my relevance, this is just once in the mock exam for June 24. I think it came in one real exam, and my students did reported me that, but that paper was not published. But even if I take that instance, so it's one in the real exam in the last 4 years, but this can have an impact in the future exam because this topic, data analytics, is emerging, it's unfolding, and it's becoming more popular with the examining team. So in the future exam, you could see the impact of it. I'll give you a glimpse of that paper, so you're very well prepared for that. You know, in the question number one, results, you do get financial results, some summarized financial results of the current year and the prior year. You get the balance sheet values, you get the income statement values, so you can just investigate them and identify some risk. So can those results be presented instead of numbers in a graphical form? Yes. Financial results could be presented in a more graphical form in question one, like pie charts or bar charts or line charts. Now, if you're working in an organization, You might be very familiar that we are living in an era where results are presented more graphically. That is this is the era of data analysis. This is the era of big data, where everything is analyzed and presented in a form of report. So that is some sort of techniques which are coming down to the AAA paper as well, making them very realistic and close to what is happening at the workplace. Student needs to analyze the graphs to pick up the trends and identify the relevant risks. So you will look at the graph and see what is going up and what is coming down, just like you see in the numbers, and you will identify, okay, this is the risk. So just like you compare the numbers, you will look at the graphical results, current year, prior year, and from the graphical results, you pick up, okay, this is going down or this is going up. So what's the risk, understatement, overstatement, etc. Let's take an example from the ACCA June 24 mock where we have a glimpse of this. Okay, I hope you can see in front of your screens the ACCA pre-June 24 mock. This has been used as an example. You can see the partner email, and in the partner email, we have the requirements, just like we typically have requirements in partner email. And in the first requirement, it says evaluate and prioritize the significant audit risk. So you need to evaluate the significant audit risk, but look at the yellow highlighted line. You should consider or you should refer to all exhibits in carrying out the evaluation. So partner email is the first exhibit, leave that out. Apart from the partner exhibit, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have to use all of them to identify the audit risk. Now, in all of those exhibits, there is one exhibit which you can see is by the name of data analytics. You open up data analytics, see the results in this exhibit are presented in a form of a pie chart and a bar chart. And this is the result about inventory. If you look at the pie chart on the left-hand side, it's giving you the most recent May year end, which is May 20x5. And on the right-hand side, you can see the corresponding year end, May 20x4. This business is having three types of inventory: food and drink inventory, clothing inventory, and home inventory. Now, you look at the left-hand side pie chart and the right-hand side pie chart, you can pick up the composition of the three types of inventory and how they're changing. If you look at the blue part, which in May 20x5 is 52%, and you compare that blue part in May 20x4, that is 46%, and that blue part is relating to the clothing inventory. So there is a surge in clothing inventory at the year end May 20x5 in comparison to May 20x4. Number two, you look at the yellow and the green. When you look at the yellow side, the yellow side is telling us about the home inventory. The home inventory at the year end May 20x5 is 36% in the total inventory, whereas in the last year, it was 40% of the total year-end inventory. So they're giving you the composition of each inventory in the total inventory in this pie chart. Then you come down and they're telling you about the numbers, that how much is the food and drink inventory, how much is the clothing inventory, how much is the home inventory, just like you get typically in the question number one. So they're telling you last year and this year, what is the value of inventory? For example, food and drink last year was 98 million. This time it's 95 million. So there is just a dip in the overall inventory for food and drink. You look at the clothing inventory in terms of their valuation, it's more than the last year. Last year it was 325. This year it's 405 and you go this way down. But the most important picture you're getting out of this result is the inventory holding period. Look at the graph of inventory holding period, the bar chart. When you look at the food and drink inventory, uh, from the last year to this year, the orange is the last year, the blue is the current year. So it's 6 and 6. So the inventory holding period for food and drink has not changed much from the last year. If you look at the home inventory, there is a slight increase in the inventory holding period of home inventory just by 2 days. But the most significant change which has come in the inventory holding period is of the clothing inventory from 52 days to 73 days. Now we know clothing is an inventory which relates with fashion, and fashion changes rapidly. So there could be a risk that when your inventory holding period is going from 52 to 73, this is an indicator of a slow moving inventory because a clothing inventory relates with fashion. So this could indicate that uh, this could indicate some concerns of the auditor on inventory valuation of the clothing inventory. And when you look at the current year inventory, $780 million, in that $780 million, $405 million is basically the clothing inventory. And you can see from the pie chart, May 20x4 to May 20x5, that the clothing inventory has risen in percentage from 46% to 52. So probably means that inventory is not selling well. And that is very much indicative from the holding period, that your holding period has increased. That means your inventory is accumulating, but it's not selling well. So you can look that from the graph, the pie chart, the proportion of inventory rising, and the inventory days is also giving us that logical picture. So there is a risk of inventory valuation that because of slow moving inventory, you need to be testing the net realizable value of the clothing inventory. You need to ensure that the clothing inventory is valued at the lower of cost or net realizable value, whichever is lower. So you need to be very skeptical about the NRV. You need to be very skeptical about how the management has carried out the inventory valuation. So I think of all the three inventories, the major risk is inside the clothing, and clothing makes a significant part of your pie chart. And the most important thing is the inventory holding period of clothing rising. Now, this is how results could be presented graphically. So they've given you pie charts of inventory, they've given you the holding period of inventory. And that's how you understand and convert that to risk. It's not difficult. It's just about that the results of the current year and prior year has been given to you more graphically, and you need to look into the graph and see what's happening in the graph and pick up the risk. So that's in the June mock exam. There is another exam paper which came in September, December 20. It's quite an old paper. I hope you can see that in front of your screen. That's September, December 20 paper. You can search this over the internet. This is by the name of the Crux Group. So you can search Crux Group question over the Google. And this is basically September, December 20. In this Crux Group question, you can see the D requirement, which is 5 marks, which is asking you, respond to my request. The partner is saying, respond to my request regarding the use of data analytics to enhance audit efficiency, effectiveness, and quality of audit. So for 5 marks, you need to write 5 good sentences. Each sentence could be like two sentences long. So you're giving like 5 good points that how data analytics can improve the overall audit efficiency. I've given you so many benefits, right? Effectiveness and quality of the audit. So how the quality, effectiveness, and efficiency of the audits could enhance with data analytics. You can make use of the benefits I've shared with you in my presentation today and just alter them to make a good 5 marks answer. So questions like such do exist in black and white. I have no other relevance of any question which is published, which I can show you, but at least this can give you a clear mindset of how you are approaching this topic from an examination point of view. So if I just take you back to my presentation again, we were discussing about, can financial results be presented graphically? So at least we have a clarity on that. Number two, we got clarity on the procedures. I hope you remember the procedures. You remember the tools which are used to make those procedures for a broader impression to the marker. The marker will be very happy if you use the proper language like data mining or anomaly detection. I've given you the challenges. In future exams, the exam team might ask you to give challenges. We've discussed about benefits, and we also discussed about the perspective of the article, which is available on the ACCA website about data analytics, which covers 3 important things, and I've covered each one of them. I've shown you the syllabus perspective as well, that what the syllabus is demanding from you. The syllabus was demanding from you the financial results being presented graphically. I've shown you a glimpse of that, and how data analytics can be used in the audit. We've also discussed that. What is data analytics? That's the definition. We covered through it. So I hope you will Follow my previous resources. You will watch up this video just as a reinforcement for this important topic because I think it could have an impact on the future exams somehow or the other. So be prepared for this topic. This is still an important topic, still an emerging topic, still a topic where a lot of development is taking place globally. So I would consider this as an emerging topic, as a current issue, even because there's so much happening globally in the audit world around data analytics and the auditor. So I tried to make a summary for that, and I hope this will largely benefit you all. This is your tutor, Kashif Kamran, signing off from this investigation into data analytics and the auditor from AAA perspective. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.